guys, it is April from Getting Hugga With It. Today I'm here to tell you my October TBR. I've got 5 books here and I'm really excited about this TBR because I feel like I've got all sorts of different genres of like horror and like just kind of spooky stuff. Very much looking forward to October reading. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first book you will already know about. Every month now I'm going through the books that I bought the previous year. So I went through all of the books that I had bought in October of 2017. It was something crazy like 52 books. I swear I'm getting better with my book hauls, but yes. So I went through them all, and the book that called out to me the most was A Mother's Reckoning, Living in the Aftermath of Tragedy by Sue Klebold. And Sue Klebold is the mother of Dylan Klebold. I think that's his last name. He was one of the shooters at Columbine. So she not only lost her son, but her son did this horrible thing right before he killed himself. And yeah, just very, very difficult read, I imagine. But I've heard really wonderful things about this book. I've heard it's really gripping and pulls you in. And I think, you know, after tragedies like that and after school shootings and shootings generally, you know, I think the family of that person who did the thing, they can be vilified as well, and there can be a lot of like fingers pointing at parents especially, and I'm sure that she experienced that here. And in this book she kind of talks about what her experience was, as well as like signs that she wished she would have caught. All of the author's profits from this book is donated to research and to charitable organizations focusing on mental health issues. So she's obviously didn't write this for profit for herself. She is trying to do some good after this horrible thing happened. So I am very much looking forward to reading this. I'm hoping to listen to this on audio because apparently the audiobook of this is really great and is actually narrated by Sue herself. So I'd really like to listen to that. Now this next one, like, did you see I just had this giant grin on my face just looking at this book? This was recently sent to me from Penguin Random House Canada, and this has had a lot of buzz in the horror community, and this is Dracul. It's by Dacre Stoker and J.D. Barker. Now J.D. Barker is well known as a wonderful horror author, and then I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, Dacre Stoker is actually Bram Stoker's great nephew. So Bram Stoker, we all know, wrote Dracula, which I've never read. I'm actually going into this without having read Dracula, which I know many of you right now are going like, no, don't do it. But I'm doing it anyway. This is meant to be a prequel to Dracula, and we follow Bram Stoker as he's writing this Dracula book, essentially. And this has so many great blurbs, like wonderful blurbs. Josh Malloran, you guys know how much I love him, author of Bird Box. He said, "Scary as hell, gothic as decay, Dracul will have you checking over your shoulder, under your bed, and up on the ceiling too, all while wondering about the contents of every crate and oblong box you see." This has blurbs from R.L. Stine, Riley Sager, John Saul, like crazy amazing authors are all so excited for this book. And I am very excited about it too. So we're again following Bram Stoker. It is 1868 and we're following him when he's 21 years old. So it starts out with him at 21 and he's like shut up in this tower, I think, and he's writing Dracula. And I believe that there are people at the door. Like I think he's expecting himself to die in this book. And then we go backwards to his childhood, where he was a sickly child. He had a sister named Matilda, and they were taken care of by this woman named Ellen Crone. And Ellen acts very strangely while they're growing up. She suddenly vanishes. There are things in the town that are happening, like murders that are happening in this small little town, and then Ellen vanishes. And they think, okay, it's over finally. But when Matilda goes away to school, she comes back for one visit to see Brom, and she says, no, I saw Ellen, and their nightmare is not over at all. It's only beginning. It sounds absolutely wonderful. I really, really want to read this for Halloween. It sounds great. And the cover is also wonderful. It's like, it shows the neck of a woman, and which is perfect for any sort of vampire story. So thrilled that I was sent this by Penguin Random House Canada. That's definitely going down. Like, yes. Okay, so moving on. I also would like to read a true crime story this October, and it is Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil by John Berendt. This is like a Southern Gothic kind of true crime, because this follows a whole town in Savannah, and on May 2nd, 1981, shots ring out, and we are diving in to discover whether the shooting was in self-defense or was it just like a straight-up murder. It sounds really, really great, and it's had such good reviews, and this one is signed, and yeah, I've been wanting to read this for a long time now, and I think this is the right time to read Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Okay, another book that I was sent from publishers, this one is from Hachette Books. This is In the House in the Dark of the Woods. And this might be my favorite creepy cover ever. Every time I pick up this book and talk to you guys about it, I talk about the cover, because it looks like trees, it looks like snow, you get a little closer. It is a wolf's head with hands and arms wrapped around it. It's so creepy. And the contents are also creepy in this little, well, it's kind of a novella. I mean, it's just 200 pages. This is a literary horror book, and it is set in colonial New England, and we follow a woman who is lost in the woods. Now, it's very unclear as to whether she is lost or whether she's run away. We don't know. We're not supposed to know. She meets another woman there, and I believe some, like, very strange things start happening. It says, this is a journey that will take her through a wolf-haunted wood, down a deep well, and onto a living ship made of bones. It just sounds very scary, and so, like, the perfect horror book for this time of year. Like, I would like to just sit down and read this in a weekend. I could probably read this in one day if I was, you know, really committed. So yeah, this one is coming out on October 16th. So exciting. So yes, that's happening. I should have mentioned about Dracul. This one is coming out on October 2nd. So get your hands on this one for Halloween. Both of them perfect Halloween reads. Okay, and the last one I've been talking to you guys about forever, and it's The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. I'd really like to be reading this Halloween as well. And this takes place at Hundreds Hall, and we follow a doctor who grew up near Hundreds Hall. His mom was a servant there. It's gone into disrepair. It was a very grand home with a lot of wealthy people. Now it's the rise of the middle class and kind of the downfall of the aristocracy and the elite, and we are seeing that with Hundreds Hall. It has fallen into disrepair. There are now only, I think, 3 people living there now. There's a mother, an elderly mother, and her 2 adult children. And he goes there because I think the mother in particular is ill, and the son has been injured in the war, and I think he's there to help him as well. And there's a ghost. So there are 4 inhabitants of Hundreds Hall. 4. I'm so excited to read this. It's been a long time since I've read a Sarah Waters, and I just think this is the perfect time to pick this up. So those are all of the books that I really want to read this October. I'm so happy with like the variety of genres here. We've got a literary horror, although Sarah Waters is pretty literary as well, but there's a ghost story, there's vampires, true crime. I just think it's really well-rounded, and I'm very excited about all of them. So let me know in the comments below what book you are most excited to read this October. What are you reading for Halloween? Are you someone that reads scary books for Halloween, or do you just read like more dark storylines? I would love to know how you approach like fall reading. So let me know about that in the comments below, and I hope you're doing well, and I'll talk with you soon. Okay, bye guys.